Hey y'all, welcome back to Santino Sunday Cigar Review. This week we're going to be doing the Larutan Big Juicy, so stay tuned.
Get it.
All right, welcome back everyone to Santino Sunday Cigar Review. Today, as Maddy mentioned, we're smoking the Drew Estate Larutan Big Juicy. I believe this is the 5x46?
Yes.
All right, Maddy, I'm going to throw it over to you just to give everybody a quick introduction like we do about binder wrap or filler, a little bit of anything you want to talk about.
Yeah, so this week's actually going to be really interesting for the binder wrapper filler combo because I'll get to the filler in a second, but the wrapper of it is an African Cameroon leaf, and the binder of it is a Nicaraguan. So that means it's going to have this nice creamy plume of smoke that I'm sure you just saw off of Mike's cigar. It's going to be really well consistent. I'm going to say that this is going to be more of a medium bodied because of the fillers. Now, the fillers of this cigar are Nicaraguan long filler for the cigar part, but there's also different black pipe tobaccos that have been mixed into the cigar. Everything from Turkey to Haiti to a little bit of Perique in there. It's a really interesting combination that Drew Estate chose for this cigar, and it's just fascinating to me.
There's a couple of destinations there where they get some of their filler from that is just fascinating. You wouldn't imagine. Some of it comes from Syria, Haiti, Turkey, St. James Parish in Louisiana. I mean, it is talking about spread all over the world. I mean, I didn't even know they grew tobacco in Syria or Haiti. Well, Haiti I could see because it's next to Dominican, but Syria and Turkey I was a little shocked.
It's a little fascinating to me, not gonna lie. So what are you getting on that first third?
So I as you can see, I'm into the first third. I want to get into this a little bit. So it is interesting because it is like the Gap, like you said. I didn't realize it. I've smoked this cigar many times in the past. It is a flavor infused cigar. We should throw that out. Some people, I hope they're not going to turn off now because we said flavor infused. Folks, it's so unique. I mean, it is. You mentioned this. The strength is medium.
Yeah.
But it kind of. It is very full flavor. I'm not picking up as many notes as you get in a lot of other posts or reviews about this cigar. White pepper, woody, mesquite, all the stuff you get in Nicaraguan filler and stuff.
Yeah.
But the most pronounced flavor for me is that earthy tone, that kind of almost a little bit of dirt. What do you get? A little maybe, I don't know if wood's the right word.
Yeah,
but,
that's definitely the pipe tobacco.
Pipe tobacco. Yeah, it's really another big overriding characteristic. It just tastes like the old fashioned juicy fruit bubble gum, and I don't know anybody who didn't like that back in the day. Yeah. So it's just it. I like your explanation. The one about Europe.
Yeah.
That's a great way of putting it. I've never heard that used as an analogy to smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
Tell the audience that.
There's something called a European breakfast, and it's called whenever you have a coffee and a cigarette together for your morning morning routine. I use this I kind of called this cigar as the best cigar, one of the most perfect cigars for that if you wanted to have it with a cigar instead of a cigarette. So I think that this would be a great European breakfast cigar.
Yeah, I'm even tasting maybe a higher level of nicotine that I find in most cigars. Are you getting any nicotine punch?
Whenever I could smoke this cigar, I was a little bit newer then, so yeah, I definitely felt a little bit more of the nicotine punch back then.
The juicy fruit bubblegum flavor that kind of dissipates. In my opinion, it kind of dissipates after the first third. Once you get into the second, because I've smoked this cigar many times, once you get into the second and third, that bubblegum sweetness kind of is gone, and you're getting now that typical stuff, and you're getting all these unique pipe tobacco flavors now from all these unique countries. So I don't want people to think that it's flavor infused start to finish.
Yeah.
Okay. It is, but it really diminishes in the background so much you don't taste those notes in the second and third.
Yeah, those flavors really dissipate with time.
All right, we're going to take a little break. We'll smoke into the second, third. We'll bring you some more information. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back here. So we're into this now. I'm more than halfway through. And the one interesting thing that this cigar is bringing out, and we've been discussing this in the break, that we can't really put a finger on what's going on, is that juicy fruit bubblegum flavor is now pretty much diminished in the background, and you're just getting the nice cigar taste. But it's leaving an interesting, and I don't know if the audience can help with this, with some feedback, but like a film in your mouth.
Yeah.
It kind of coats like your roof and your cheek and your tongue, and it's not an unpleasant. It's actually a kind of a pleasant, but I can't describe it. I can't put it into words. We bantered back and forth for a couple of minutes in the break, so maybe someone out there can tell us what we're
kind of experiencing.
Experiencing. So, Maddy, anything for you?
So one thing I wanted to do of note, and I always talk about this whenever it's Cameroon wrappers and stuff like that, with really delicate cigar wrappers like this, big juicy and stuff like that. Whenever it's winter months like this, make sure you take it out of the cellophane and let it rest before you cut it and light it, because otherwise it will crack and it will just make that whole smoking experience not nearly as fun. So just wanted to make that of note.
And it did happen to me this morning because we were in a rush to get started, and I did exactly what you said not to do.
Yep.
And it did great. But the good news, it was at the end that I was lighting, so it took care of itself.
Yeah.
But yes, folks, it's winter. There's no humidity in the air. Well, if you live like where we're at in the Midwest here, but yeah, you want to check the humidity in your humidor for sure, because you're going to increase humidity in winter and decrease it in summer.
Mm-hmm.
So please, we're in that part of the season where you probably should have already noticed it back in November and December.
Yes.
But all right, folks, we're going to pause real quick, and we'll come back with our last segment, and then we'll give you some news. All right, folks, we're on our last little segment here. So I'm going to wrap this up really fast with the last third.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say that it has stayed extremely consistent. I've never had to relight it. I've stopped to do a lot of talking. So, it still fits the premium cigar mold. I mean, it is made by Drew Estate.
Yes.
So, it's going to smoke like any other premium cigar. So we'll hop now right into our pros and cons. Maddy, what do you got?
Honestly, so some pros and cons of this cigar. My pro of this cigar is from what Mike's told me and from my previous experiences. Honestly, this is the perfect breakfast cigar in my opinion. It's a great cigar that you can just have in the morning. You don't really have to think about it too much. The flavors are right there in front, and there's not too much of a complexity for you to really have to think about in the morning. It also pairs really well with coffee as well, from past experience. My con of this cigar is that juicy fruit bubblegum taste in that first third is almost overpowering to me. And I don't have that much of a sensitive palate whenever it comes to flavored cigars like this. So having it being almost overpowering for me is a little bit scary for someone who has a really sensitive palate to these flavored cigars.
Yeah, that's interesting how you put that, because I was trying to think, I'm getting almost the opposite. But that's what cigar smoking is all about, though, right? I mean, I love that punch of juicy fruit bubblegum taste that I get, because I like that.
Yeah.
But if you don't like that, I could see that. I'm going to start with the con first, instead of the pro. My con would be that I kind of, I had mentioned that by the second third, that flavor had totally kind of diminished for me.
Yeah.
I wish it was maybe a little lighter on the front end, but it carried throughout the cigar. It, like you said, it is a bigger punch in the beginning, and then for me, it just goes totally away. So I would say maybe the con would be, for me, that just keep that flavor a little less intensity, but carry it throughout all 3/3 of the cigar.
Yes.
My pro is that it's just a really good, consistent cigar. And folks, it's so nice to get out of your comfort zone. I mean, come on, you never would have imagined you would have tobacco from Syria, Haiti, and Turkey. Smoke something different for a change. I think you're right, Maddy. It's a great morning breakfast cigar.
Yes.
There's some cigar smokers. I think there's a group of cigar smokers that love that high potent, punch in the morning when they first wake up. Maybe they were former cigarette smokers.
Yeah.
But then there's a big segment of people, maybe like us, where I enjoy to work my way into a cigar throughout the day. So I'll start with a lighter one in the morning and work my way into, a nice full-bodied cigar by evening.
Yeah.
So, it's different. This is what makes this industry and this hobby so eclectic.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, this community dresses, to the way that the establishments we go to are different than the establishments that a lot of other people go to.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a culture. It's kind of really neat. So folks, if you're just getting into cigars, try these. And folks, if you've been smoking forever, try something new.
Mm-hmm.
You just might enjoy.
Yeah.
So Maddy, anything else to wrap us up with?
So I just wanted to mention something really quickly before we get into the like, comment, subscribe deal. So of the CAO Vision box, we only have 2 cigars left in it as of filming. So with the raffle that's going on for the box, we only have 2 spaces left, and it's 1 of 18 counting the whole thing. So right now, you have a 1 in 18 chance of winning that really pretty box that we mentioned in previous videos. So if you're local to the area, come on down, buy one of those cigars, and you might win a really, really pretty humidor box.
It lights up LED.
Yes.
I mean, it's actually one of the neater boxes I've seen in several years.
Yeah, and other than that, pretty much make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that way you can be reminded whenever all of our videos go live. We might have stuff rolling in. It's a little bit out of the liquor seasons and stuff that we usually get stuff now. But always check the Facebook. Something new is always coming in through these doors. It's always an interesting time here.
Yeah, and I want to thank all of my Santino's customers out there across the country that voted. The final voting was yesterday, and they announced the winners. We did not win,
no.
But 1 through 5, we were told by the company that it was so close. I mean, it was razor thin, kind of like the last election. So we were up in that last section, I believe, but we did not win. That's okay. We made the top 10 of the country. I'm really happy for that.
Yeah.
And thank everyone for taking the time to place a vote for us.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, remember, here at Santino's, we drink,
we smoke, and we know things.
See you next week.
Have fun, y'all.